Hello everyone and welcome back to another Manga Monday. Today I'm going to be reviewing the third and final volume of Still Sick, and I read this on my tablet, so I'm going to just hold up the cover of it, if I can get this. So this was volume 3 of Still Sick by Akashi that I have been reading and more or less enjoying. So the first thing to note is the cover. They're holding each other, they have flowers. This has kind of been a hot and cold thing between them where they're not really comfortable admitting to one another that they might be romantically interested in one another. And as you can see by volume 3, they get over that. So Still Sick is the kind of series where you know what you're getting into from the start. It's like when you pull a book off the shelf at the library and there's a damsel in distress and some oil-chested man taking her dress off. You know what you're getting into when you read it. And if you read it and the woman was like, actually, I don't like being treated like an object. I'm gonna go start my law firm in New York and live a great single life and go to Pilates on Saturday, you'd be disappointed because that's not why you picked up the book. You know what you're looking for. Same thing here. I know what I'm looking for in this series, and they're obviously gonna end up together. In fact, if they didn't and they just were like, actually, we're gonna turn into a sports manga, I'd be like, no, you know what you're getting when you pick this up. So this is what you get. You get volume 3. This is where you're going. So obviously they eventually confess their feelings for one another and they are together. And volume 3 is kind of their relationship and more of them figuring out maybe personal stuff and where they see their future going as a couple, and less about their feelings towards one another. Well, it's still about their feelings towards one another, but more about where they kind of see the future going. So I'm gonna start off with the thing that I disliked, and that is Akane, this girl here. I didn't like her very much. Makoto was super sweet. She was nice, she was loving, she was always there for her partner, she was super supportive. She had some of her own issues, but everyone does. She deserves way better than her. She deserves to discover her own love of women and then go out and find a woman who is not Akane to date. Because Akane was just kind of not a good person. Well, she's very stressed, she's very under a lot of pressure because she wants to perform and reach her goals and everything, but she kind of is mean. And just because you're under a lot of pressure doesn't really give you an excuse to be mean to other people. And I just thought she was kind of really mean the entire time. So yeah, for one, I didn't really like her as much as I liked Makoto. Makoto was much nicer in my opinion, and I really liked reading about her more, which is kind of unfortunate because the vast majority of this book focuses on Akane and her development as a person. So in this book, she realizes she really wants to go towards her goal of becoming a manga artist. And to do that, she decides she's going to quit her job. She's writing this series. There's a lot of pressure. She decides to work with the woman who got her spot in the magazine when she went on hiatus because she became stressed the first time she became a manga artist. So there's a lot about Akane. In fact, I feel like there's a lot more about her than there was about Makoto, which is sad because I liked Makoto better than Akane. But that was a very interesting dynamic because we do get to see her life and her goals. I just felt like Makoto was kind of turned into a plank of wood in this book, if that makes sense. And she was just like, okay, I am girlfriend. Yes, I still work at the office. Well, Akane is like quitting her job and following her dreams and working through all this internal complex personal stuff while still kind of being a mean person, which you think like, I don't know. I just wasn't as much of a fan of her. So yeah, that's kind of the dynamic here. Another interesting thing I actually didn't look online, and I meant to before, the state of whether or not like women are allowed to marry each other in Japan. It kind of sounds like it's not, because this book, if I remember the publishing date correctly, was like 2020, and the women in this book are kind of like, oh, like our parents don't really approve, and we can't even like hold hands in public or anything, which is very different from where I live here in the United States, where no one will bat an eye at that sort of stuff. So that was definitely a different dynamic that I was like, whoa. And then I checked the publishing date and I was like, whoa, really? Like 2020? But every country's on its own thing, so that's that. But that was just something I noticed that I was like, wait, what? And they were very concerned about like people in public seeing them or whatever and maybe harassing them. But overall, I gave this a 3-star. This would have been a lot better if Akane had been a better person, I think, or if Akane had become a more likable person throughout this. I really liked Makoto. I really liked her personality. She had her problems, but both of them had their problems. That was kind of part of the story, was them working through it. And this just kind of became about Akane focusing on herself and working on herself and her role in the relationship and how she was going to find herself in the relationship. And it was a little disappointing because I didn't get to see as much Makoto as I wanted to. But it was still a satisfactory ending. I know what I was getting into. I got what I was getting into. I got the happily ever after, the love ending, the moving in together, the doing girlfriend stuff together. And it was super nice and it was super cute. And if you just want some simple, lovey-dovey, touchy stuff, I would recommend this series. Maybe you'll like Akane more than I did. I personally didn't like her. If you like her, nothing wrong with that. She may just rub me the wrong way. But I would recommend this. It's, in my opinion, it's not the best manga series I've ever read in my entire life, but it was enjoyable enough, and I read the 3rd volume in one sitting on the couch, so can't have been that bad, can it have been? If anyone else has read this series, please let me know what your thoughts were about it overall. I'd be really interested in hearing about that. If you've read this series, read volume 3, have thoughts on it, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. Other than that, I'm gonna let everyone else get back to having a great day.